Welcome to the Life Science Success Podcast. My name is Don, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm a consultant in life sciences. I help companies manage complexity and increase performance. Today, I actually thought that maybe we would take a little bit of a different tact with regards to an episode and focus in on Life Science Success, the podcast, and also the guests that we've interviewed up to this point in this year. Up first this year was Ron Kaufman. Ron Kaufman is an author that focuses primarily in on customer experience and customer success, and overall has an awful lot of information to share with regards to his journey in Singapore and helping Singapore establish more or less a ranking that's extremely high in the world for customer experience, and then also give some great tips in terms of companies that are thinking about focusing in on customer experience as they get started. Bella Engelbach is a consultant in life sciences. She actually focuses in on operational excellence, similar to me. And she and I share an awful lot of similarities. And so we talk about those in the episode as well. And we just cover an awful lot of ground in terms of operational excellence and what companies should be thinking about in terms of increasing performance as they develop. In addition to that, Bella focuses in on mid to early stage individuals in their career for her coaching practice. And she talks a little bit about her approach with regards to coaching and how she helps to develop plans that support where the individuals that she coaches want to go. The next episode that we had was both with Dusty Majumdar and Sam Hanash. We focused in on liquid biopsies. Liquid biopsies are going to be a big part of the future of life sciences, as if they're not already now, but they're continuing to grow in terms of popularity today, and have become kind of the standard that a lot of us focus in on whenever we talk about the future of diagnostics and cancer screening. And Sam and his team at MD Anderson actually focused in on a paper that uses a protein marker panel that informs the risk of harboring lung cancer and the need for CT screening. And so in this episode, we actually focus in a little bit on that as well. April Zambelli Weiner, whenever I interviewed her, we talked about her company, TTI, Health Research and Economics. At TTI, they actually focus in on the clinical and economic research, and they provide consulting services around, helping companies make strategic decisions about pre-market development all the way through commercialization. Up next was Mark Gordon. We talked about his company, Diviner. Diviner, actually, if you think about a divining rod and using it to find water, similarly, Diviner is focusing in on this idea of helping companies make selections about what drugs should be developed and where drug development should continue. And so he has a technology and a company that focuses in on those efforts. And in this, we talk a lot about his company and really how they're using data and analytics to make decisions about what companies should really focus in on, especially if they are in the investment or drug development world. And so Mark's company does a great job at that. Doctors Todd and Kim Saxton are award-winning professors out of Indiana's University Kelley School of Business, and they have a book called The Titanic Effect. And in The Titanic Effect, they describe what entrepreneurs can do to actually sabotage the growth of their company. And so we focus a lot in this episode on exactly what companies should try and avoid in terms of debt bergs and other sort of errors that companies can make that will have long-term effects that could impact the overall growth of the company or actually might end the company overall. And so Doctors Todd and Kim Saxton were a great interview, and their book is phenomenal. I've read it myself and actually greatly enjoyed the book, The Titanic Effect. Ross Jackson is literally the guy who wrote the book on patient recruitment. He started very early in his career in marketing, and we walk through his journey into life sciences, working with patients in Facebook ads and helping companies recruit patients for clinical trials. And so his work continues today. He talks a lot about what the future of patient recruitment is and what some of the struggles are as well in this particular episode. And so I encourage everybody to go back and listen to Ross Jackson's episode as well. Beth Bauer has an awful lot to share with regards to the gaps in business, data, analytics, and technology, and maximizing that shared value creation. Her company, Pozeroy, focuses in on delivering that for their clients and really helping, kind of walk clients through exactly how to set up their data and analytics so that they can maximize the data that comes out of the research that they're doing. And so Beth Bauer is providing, just a great service in life sciences. And I would encourage people to go back and listen to her episode as well. Jason Winder has a company called Sonogen, and Sonogen focuses in on ultrasonic bone healing. And so they're a brand new company in this space, just gaining momentum with regards to, demonstrating their technology. They actually have some really encouraging data that's come out with regards to mouse models. And so, again, Jason Winder, if you're somebody who's developing a technology or even looking at other ways to possibly, look at funding your company, this episode's one that I would go back and listen to, because Jason talks about what it is that they're doing to help investors better understand exactly what it is that their technology does, and then also ways that they're thinking about funding the company as well. Chris Ye, this interview actually focuses in on a book called Blitzscaling. And I was traveling at the moment that I recorded the episode. So I talk a little bit about, my travels and kind of, what it takes to record a podcast while you're traveling. But in addition to that, we focus in a lot on blitzscaling and what this means. Blitzscaling, really, the definition is that you're wanting to grow fast. And so there are factors that the book Blitzscaling detail in terms of things that help companies really move forward effectively in terms of growing fast. And it was just such an honor to get to have somebody like Chris on the podcast. And they really have key factors that he looks for whenever he goes to invest in a company. And so this, again, would be a great episode for somebody that's looking for information with regards to either growth and scaling, or even investors and what specifically it is that they look for. Dory Clark has actually written another book called The Long Game. And so in the most recent episode with Dory, this is her second time on the podcast, we actually focused in on just the long game and what is it? What specifically does the book focus in on? And, how do people sort of frame up the long game with regards to life sciences? So how does this, again, fit into our world was one of the bigger things that we focused in on in her particular episode. And so, again, she's a Harvard Business Review press author, and somebody worth going back and listening to her episode. But also the book, The Long Game, is a phenomenal book for somebody that's thinking about how do you make investments today so that they pay off at some point tomorrow. And then also, how do you make those trade-off decisions? Because we can't continually take on new things. You always have to be thinking also about how do you eliminate things that aren't worth investment, that don't necessarily fit in your particular realm. And so with that, The Long Game is a phenomenal read. Dory's just a great person to have in the episode. And, it was just great to get to interview her for a second time and talk about her book, The Long Game. Raphael Ogner has a new company called Enkilt. And so we talk about where they're at with Enkilt Therapeutics. We talk about his career from going from product marketing all the way through to co-founding a cancer therapy organization. So if there's anybody out there that's actually looking for opportunities to make it as a CEO of a company, Raphael actually talks about that. He also talks a lot about the product that they have and kind of where the company is that he's currently developing. And so, Raphael is a good friend of mine and was a great interview as well. Precision pathology using explainable AI. And so I think this is actually the episode where Dusty comes back for his fourth interview, I believe it is. So Dusty Majumdar comes back, and shares again a bit of his wealth of knowledge in explainable AI this time. So before a couple of slides ago, I actually covered an episode that he did with Sam Hanash on liquid biopsy. And in this case, he's actually focusing in on explainable AI with the company Spintellex. So Spintellex has a platform that really differentiates itself from other computational pathology platforms with its focus on spatial AI. And so we talk a lot about what is spatial AI, how specifically is this going to help the pathology market. And since then, actually, there's been a public announcement that Dusty Majumdar is now the CEO of Spintellex. And so this is kind of a precursor episode prior to his becoming the CEO. But again, a great episode to go and watch. The founders there, just talk a lot about explainable AI and what specifically it is and how it's going to impact the market. Mike Klein with Genomenon. So Mike is just a phenomenal leader. He's actually been CEO previously for other tech and software companies, and he's just has a wealth of knowledge that we go through with regards to his experience in terms of growing companies from startup all the way through, being larger organizations. And with Mike's experience, for any sort of leader inside of life sciences, I felt like his experience really could help any leader that's looking to grow an organization and think about things that will actually contribute to the growth of your organization, as well as things you might want to consider, as you're growing an organization that could be a challenge as well. And so, he talks a lot about their company values and what specifically Genomenon is doing, in addition to Mike's phenomenal career as a leader as well. Acuna Ihanacho. So Acuna actually is the CSO of Texel North America, and Texel is a global CRO who specializes in custom cell culture, viral propagation, virus concentration, and viral clearance. And so we talk a lot about Texel in the episode, but we also talk a lot about Acuna and her journey, both as, somebody who is a student that benefited from STEM, also the work that Acuna has done in different areas of her career. And so, I definitely would encourage anybody that is thinking about the impact that STEM has, or, even some of the work that Texel does overall, to take a look at the episode that focuses in on Acuna Ihanacho. Anthony Moroda actually is the CEO of a company, but he also does a lot of work in rheumatology, as well as he works with a company that's based out of Japan, where he supports a lot in diagnostics. And then he also has a company called Peckish, and Peckish is focusing on delivering foods that really have been thought about in terms of the level of healthiness that they would deliver individuals, and how do they do that on the go. And so his company focuses in on, food that is created both by doctors and chefs. So those are the episodes that we have for the first half of 2022. Hopefully you've enjoyed this recap of the episodes that we've had. I've just had some phenomenal guests on and greatly appreciate all of their time that they've given up with regards to helping me record the different episodes. And, we've covered a lot of ground in the Life Science Success podcast in the time that it's been on. If you have enjoyed the episodes, please like and subscribe to the podcast. Also, I will be at Bio on Monday, June 13th at the Music Beats Cancer event. And so if you happen to either be at the event or if you happen to pass by and see the banner anywhere, please stop by and say hello to me. I'd love to meet more and more people in person that are fans of the podcast, and would love to hear any suggestions that you have for possible future guests. Thank you so much for watching or listening. I look forward to bringing you more and more content in the second half of 2022. Thank you for listening to Life Science Success. For complete details about this podcast, including show notes, how to get in touch with guests, and more episodes, please visit www.lifesciencesuccess.com. If there's someone you'd like for us to invite to the show as a guest, please let me know by sending me a message at the podcast website. Please click subscribe on your favorite podcast app, share the podcast, or tell a friend about it, and last but not least, rate the podcast. Thank you again.